Bon matin, good morning, Kwe. My name is Mona Fortier, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Ottawa, Vanier, Gloucester, and it is my pleasure to serve you as your MC for today's announcement, marking an important milestone for the regulatory and security science main project under Laboratories Canada. Je suis heureuse d'accueillir aujourd'hui dans la circonscription de Nepean, celle du très honorable Mark Carney, des invités de marque, partenaires, scientifiques, chercheurs, intervenants, représentants des médias et fonctionnaires qui se joignent à nous ce matin. I am delighted to welcome Elder Verna McGregor, the Honourable David McGuinty, Minister of National Defence and Member of Parliament of Ottawa South, who's here today on behalf of the Honourable Joël Lightbound, Minister of Government Transformation, Public Works and Procurement. And we also have members of the National Capital Region. We have Marie-France Lalonde, the MP for Orléans, and also Bruce Fanjoy, the MP for Carleton. And we are very happy to be here to support this announcement. We also have Dr. Harpreet Kochhar, President of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, Tyler Watt, the Member of Provincial Parliament for Nepean, and also representatives of Public Services and Procurement Canada, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the Canada Border Services Agency, Health Canada, the Public Health Agency of Canada, Indigenous partners and project partners. So you should all feel welcome today because we named a lot of people here. Alors, au cours des dernières années, j'ai eu l'occasion de constater directement les projets réalisés dans le cadre de plusieurs projets de Laboratoire Canada, notamment ici, dans la région de la capitale nationale, avec Terra Canada, ainsi qu'au Centre des sciences de l'Atlantique à Moncton. Those visits reinforce the importance of investing in modern facilities that allow federal scientists to collaborate, innovate, and continue delivering critical services for Canadians. And it is exciting to be here today as we mark another important milestone in strengthening Canada's science infrastructure and supporting the world-class work carried out by our federal science community. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. Et nous reconnaissons, vous savez, et honorons la présence continue, les cultures et les contributions des peuples autochtones. Et nous sommes reconnaissants de pouvoir nous réunir ici sur ce territoire. And as part of today's event, we are honored to be joined by an Indigenous elder who will be offered opening remarks and share reflections with us. Alors, veuillez vous joindre à moi pour accueillir l'aîné McGregor qui va se joindre à nous.
Oh, merci, Mona. Thank you, Miigwech. Hello, everybody. Kwekakena, bonjour, tout le monde. Verna, indigenous Kazia Kitagan Zibi Nidojabal Walgish Nidodem Shijonim Kipanesi. My name is Verna McGregor, and I'm from Kitagan Zibi Nishnabeg, which is about 140 kilometers north of here. And Ottawa Gatineau forms part of our traditional lands here. I'm very honored to be here today, too, as well, because one of my past roles was the Community Economic Development Officer in Kitagan-Zibi, and we developed this maple syrup operation. And part of the research for that was working with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, because we started at 10,000 taps and today it's at 18,000 taps. But we developed also too as well the HACCP plan for the Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points plan, and that's for food safety. And why I'm here today too, I was thinking about that. I was with this group last week. It was the women in wampum. And one of the things they were talking about is with the Mashpee Wampanoag on the eastern coast of Turtle Island. I mentioned there was a hickory nut mussel here in Ottawa on the Ottawa River, and they record time in the shells. And I said, is there something similar with the quahog and whelk? And this was 2 years ago. So just recently they said, you know, when you mentioned that, we realized that the quahog now, which was our food source, we were told that we should wait 3 days before we consume because of the contaminants. There's a phytocontaminant in it. So I'm saying, oh my goodness, that's why you need the food safety is an issue, big time, as we move forward with our, sometimes our industrialization. How do we have this safety for everybody? Because again, part of our teaching is I always bring this dream catcher, which is the web of life, the spider teachings, and everything is interconnected. And that includes our food source and becoming aware of that interconnectedness. So I say, miigwech, onje ni gashkito chama dose koshe nongo mami kakina pamaze je konje o gashkito che odamtawa jonje kakina pamaze je gena begis kanche squat ne gwede simene shich kana noch kuch ne gwede simen shwen mishnone na begis mi gwach I said c'est in connaissance que je dis and I say it's just an acknowledgement that to be honored that we're here together and to help our relatives here in the work that they do, because it's for the safety and wellness of the collective. And I say miigwech 4 times again to honor the 4 directions, the 4 seasons of our lives, the 4 directions, and to bring balance in our emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental. And food safety plays a big role in that. So I say miigwech, and back to you, Mona. Miigwech, everybody. Thank you. Merci.
Merci infiniment, Aimée McGregor, pour vos paroles réfléchies, nous avoir également permis de commencer cette annonce du bon pied et nous avoir partagé cette expérience que nous vivons tous, finalement, d'une façon ou d'une autre. Alors, merci d'avoir partagé ça. And it is now my pleasure to invite the Honourable David McGuinty, Minister of National Defence and Member of Parliament for Ottawa South, to the podium. You're so close.
Very close. Just as easy here. Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Thank you for being here. Elder McGregor, thank you for sharing the experience with respect to maple syrup. My kids would say that was a sweet story. I really want to recognize everyone who has been involved in this project. Their hard work, your expertise, your dedication have brought us to this important milestone. It's a big project. It's a pleasure to be here today on behalf of my colleague, the Honourable Joel Lightbound, Minister of Government Transformation, Public Works and Procurement. I'm also very pleased to be joined here by, of course, Mona Fortier, Marie-France Lalonde, Bruce Fanjoy, and Tyler Watt. Thank you for being here. This is an important moment. It's also fitting to mark this milestone here in Nepean, as Mona referred to, the community represented by our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and home to so much of the talent and expertise driving Canada forward. I've just come from Alberta, where we announced a new quantum research hub, and I will share with you what I shared with that audience, which is that the world is changing very quickly, much more quickly than we thought. And as I like to say, we'll never see the pace of change this slow again. Canada's future depends on our ability to innovate, to collaborate, and to lead in science. By investing in modern, sustainable infrastructure, we're equipping scientists and researchers with the tools they need to protect Canadians and to strengthen our economy. L'innovation est au cœur de notre avenir. Nous savons que des installations de pointe sont indispensables pour que les scientifiques fédéraux puissent poursuivre leurs travaux essentiels visant à protéger la santé humaine, la sécurité frontalière et la santé animale. C'est pourquoi le gouvernement du Canada investit dans l'infrastructure moderne dont nos scientifiques ont besoin pour répondre aux besoins des Canadiens aujourd'hui et des générations à venir. Today's announcement is part of Laboratories Canada, the federal government's long-term strategy to transform how federal science is conducted across the country. Through this initiative, we're creating modern, sustainable, and collaborative facilities. This will allow federal scientists to work together in new ways to tackle increasingly complex challenges. One of those facilities is the Regulatory and Security Science Main Project, or RSS Main, right here where we're standing today. RSS Main is going to replace aging federal labs with a modern scientific research hub designed to support world-class science and innovation. When complete, this facility will bring together approximately 275 scientists and researchers from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the Canada Border Services Agency, Health Canada, and the Public Health Agency of Canada. Together is the operative word, they'll advance critical work in public health, border security, and regulatory science. Today's announcement brings that vision one step closer to reality. Today, a $768.6 million construction services contract is being awarded to PCL Construction Canada Inc. This milestone moves RSS Main into its next phase of construction and brings Canada one step closer to delivering a modern science hub. As construction progresses, we'll continue supporting the government's Buy Canadian approach by working with suppliers to prioritize Canadian-sourced materials wherever possible. This investment will support Canadian workers, Canadian businesses, with a contract expected to support up to 450 jobs every single day on site, while strengthening Canada's science and security infrastructure and contributing to broader resilience objectives. But RSS Main is about much more than buildings. It's about giving scientists the facilities they need to protect us, to protect Canadians, and strengthen Canada's economy. Canada's agriculture and food industries support more than 2 million jobs and contribute approximately $150 billion annually to our economy. That is not inconsequential. The work carried out here will help safeguard that success. Scientists at RSS Main will conduct research and diagnostics that help respond to animal diseases, strengthen border security, improve our readiness for public health emergencies. Grâce à des technologies de pointe et à des laboratoires modernes, ils seront mieux outillés pour apporter des solutions rapides qui protègent les Canadiens, soutiennent le commerce et renforcent la croissance économique. En réunissant les partenaires scientifiques fédéraux dans un centre moderne, nous créons les conditions propices à une collaboration, à une innovation et à une efficacité accrue à l'appui des priorités du gouvernement et des services sur lesquels les Canadiens comptent au quotidien. This project also reflects the Government of Canada's commitment to advancing reconciliation through meaningful partnership. We're continuing to work closely with the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation while creating meaningful opportunities for Indigenous businesses, workers, and communities through Indigenous participation plans included in project contracts. These measures are expected to generate approximately $90 million in economic opportunities for Indigenous partners and businesses. That helps ensure the benefits of this investment are shared more broadly while supporting lasting economic growth and opportunity. RSS Main demonstrates Canada's commitment to protecting Canadians through science, innovation, and modern public infrastructure. Today's contract award marks an important milestone as the project moves into its next phase of construction. It brings Canada one step closer to providing federal scientists with the modern facilities, the technologies, and the collaborative environments they need to address some of our country's most pressing challenges. Through Laboratories Canada, we're transforming how federal science is conducted across the country while creating opportunities for Canadian workers, businesses, and communities. En investissant dans la science aujourd'hui, nous investissons dans le Canada de demain. By investing in science today, we're helping build a healthier, safer, and more prosperous Canada for generations to come. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre. C'est de la musique à nos oreilles. Hein? Pourquoi? Parce qu'on entend le fait que nous allons évidemment donner des laboratoires à nos scientifiques, nos chercheurs, les fonctionnaires qui travaillent fort tous les jours pour soutenir les Canadiens et Canadiennes. I do want to thank all of you that are here today that have made a difference in making this project possible, but also making the fact that we have you as experts working for Canadians every day, and we don't take the time enough to thank you. So I wanted, with the team here today, to make sure that you know you are very important to us, and we hope that this will enable continuing to work for Canadians. It is also today's announcement that marks an important step forward for the Regulatory and Security Science Main Project, which will bring together scientists and researchers from multiple federal organizations, as you mentioned earlier, Minister, and this will bring Modern Science Hub right here in Ottawa. Les travaux qui seront réalisés sur ce campus contribueront à soutenir la santé publique, la santé animale, la sécurité frontalière et les sciences réglementaires pour les années à venir. Avant de présenter notre prochain invité, je veux quand même reconnaître, we do have a municipal councillor today that I saw in the room, so Sean Devine, thank you very much for being here today. I want to recognize that you are part of this also. And now it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Harpreet Kochhar, President of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, to deliver remarks.
Good morning, bonjour, merci Madame Fortier. Bienvenue à toutes et tous au complexe de laboratoire de Ottawa, Fallowfield, de l'Agence canadienne d'inspection des éléments. Et merci d'être parmi nous aujourd'hui pour cette annonce importante. We welcome you here, not just as an occupant and operators of this lab and property, but also as a lead agency on the Laboratories Canada Regulatory and Security Science Hub. As Minister pointed out, RSS lead, the CFIA brings together partners from federal science community to identify opportunities for greater collaboration, including how we can share infrastructure, how we can share expertise, as well as specialized equipment to support our shared priorities and public service mandate. The Fallowfield Lab has a long history in the community, and ever since the facility was constructed in 1974, this is a landmark laboratory. Today, it is CFIA's largest laboratory. Aujourd'hui, il s'agit du plus grand laboratoire de la CIA. Il soutient de trois grands secteurs d'activité de l'agence, la salubrité des éléments, la protection des végétaux, et de la santé des animaux. And this is located at a 2,000 acre of land in Ottawa Greenbelt. The property includes working farm, animal colonies, as well as laboratories where scientists safely work to protect Canada from plant and animal diseases and pathogens of concern. After many decades of productive scientific work here, we know that to keep advancing our science, to keep protecting Canadians, our plant and animal resource and our economy, we do need a modern environment, a modern infrastructure and capabilities so that we can be operational and confined to regulatory requirements. That is why CFIA is thrilled to be a part of this project, which will see a new state-of-the-art facility built next to our existing laboratory, the laboratory which you are in presently. Le projet remplacera les infrastructures vieilles et contribuera à faire progresser une science collaborative et de classe mondiale, non seulement pour la CIA, mais aussi pour nos partenariats scientifiques fédéraux. While this has been a CFIA laboratory for decades, we look forward to welcoming and collaborating multiple departments and agencies in this new facility, both to be inclusive in terms of scientific expertise and support from staff of CBSA, from Health Canada, Public Health Agency of Canada, and many more who would find this laboratory to be essential. The new laboratory better support Canada agriculture and agri-food sector and promote healthier community. Just from the CFIA's perspective, the new lab facility will support, as I mentioned, animal health programs, help maintain Canada's reputation for protecting animal health and for having one of the safest food systems in the world. We're so pleased to be part of this project and create modern, sustainable facilities which our CFIA scientists and our federal science partners will coexist in. And this new facility, I must say, will build on our legacy and expand the community of federal scientists that will have the privilege of working here. And today's announcement, in the end, represents an exciting new era of scientific collaboration across Government of Canada that will have lasting impact on Canada's economy, on Canada's agriculture, border security, emergency preparedness, and trade. Thank you for being here. Merci beaucoup, miigwech.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kochhar, and also thank you for your leadership in this endeavor. And now we are pleased to be joined today by Tyler Watt, Member of Provincial Parliament for Nepean. Thank you for hosting us in your region today.
Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. It's really great to be here today. I grew up 5 minutes away from here, and I swear I've driven past this building thousands of times in my life. So it's very cool to actually be in here and meet so many of you. I want to thank Minister McGuinty, Minister Lightbound, and my federal colleagues, Mona, Bruce, Marie-France Lalonde, for their leadership and commitment to Laboratories Canada and to investing in Canadian science and research. And as the MPP for Nepean, I'm incredibly proud that this important work is happening right here in our community. And as a registered nurse, I've seen firsthand just how important science, research, and evidence are to the decisions we make and to the health and safety of the people that we serve. We have also learned that we cannot wait for the next challenge or public health crisis to start building the capacity we need, and we need to invest now. That means investing in the scientists, researchers, and public servants whose work keeps our food safe, protects our health, and prepares us for future threats and helps keep Canadians safe. And this investment is also about the future of Nepean. It means world-class research and innovation happening right here in our community. It means highly skilled jobs and new opportunities. And it means giving Canadian scientists the modern facilities and tools they need to do their best work. I talk a lot about the importance of governments looking beyond the next year or the next election and making investments that will serve people for generations. And this is one of those investments. Supporting science, research, and public health isn't simply an expense. It is an investment in a healthier, safer, and more resilient Canada. So thank you to the Government of Canada for making this significant investment right here in Nepean. And congratulations to everyone who has worked to bring this project to this milestone. I'm proud to welcome this investment in our community, and I look forward to seeing the work that happens here and the impact it will have for generations to come. Thank you, merci, and miigwech.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Watt, et pour ton leadership aussi. Merci. Alors, ceci conclut la portion des allocutions pour l'annonce d'aujourd'hui, mais ça ne termine pas notre présentation dans le sens où nous allons avoir maintenant la période de questions. C'est toujours notre favorite, hein? Ouais. And therefore, I would like to invite Muntaha Mahmed to begin the media question and answer session. Following the Q&A, I would like to invite today's speakers and guests to gather with us for a brief group photo, the other event we love, and we will follow the lead of Claudine to go and do this picture. Alors, à la suite de la période de questions, j'invite les conférenciers, les invités à demeurer sur place pour une brève photo de groupe. Alors, j'inviterai Muntaha Ahmed à se présenter au micro.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the announcement. Thank you, merci. We'll open the floor to questions. Before asking your question, please state your name and outlet. Thank you.
Good morning, Minister McGuinty. Judy Trin with CTV National
Hi, Judy.
News.
It's good to see you again.
I'm wondering, given Canada's repeated desire to be less resilient on the U.S., but however, with these trade negotiations, the U.S. does want preferential treatment when it comes to big procurement projects. Would the federal government, considering giving the U.S. more access, relaxing its policy, in order to ensure that there is a comprehensive trade agreement and that there is sectoral relief for autos, aluminum, steel, and forestry products?
That's an important question, and one that is, I'm sure, being examined by our negotiating team. One thing I've learned over the years, Judy, is when you're not at the negotiating table, don't comment on negotiations. I don't have the information. I don't know where that's at. I do have confidence in our team, led by the Prime Minister, by Minister LeBlanc, our chief negotiator, our team in Washington at the embassy. So the question of what is part and parcel of that negotiation continues, and I am hopeful we will come to a successful outcome in due course.
And in regards to the situation regarding the NATO spy, the alleged NATO spy, the government of Canada has said that it approves security clearances, including for interns at NATO. What accountability do you, Minister, seek for this international security breach?
The Prime Minister was asked about this last week, and he was clear about two things. One, he said, be aware that Canadian authorities, security authorities, have been aware of this case for some time. And that's as far as he or I can go. And secondly, this is now a matter for the police of local jurisdiction in Brussels, in Belgium. The individual, I don't know what her status is presently, but that's something that is better put to those authorities. It's not appropriate for me or for a member of the government to comment on an ongoing investigation.
And in regards to the forest fires in BC and across the country, has there been more requests for the Department of National Defence or Canadian Armed Forces to participate more in fire relief efforts?
The Minister for Emergency Preparedness, Minister Olszewski from Edmonton, did receive a request for assistance from the BC government. That's the appropriate channel through which provinces make the ask. It's now really a question of assessing hour by hour, as we have been doing all weekend and most of last night, to see what the status is. The Canadian Armed Forces are on standby, are in direct, constant contact with our Government Operations Centre, our emergency preparedness folks, the BC government, their officials. So we have not yet received a formal request for assistance directed from emergency preparedness to the Canadian Armed Forces. Should we do so, we are prepared to assist.
Thank you.
Hi, Minister. Mackenzie Greer, the Global News. I've got a question period briefing that was given to you, June 20, 2025. If pressed on F-35 procurement, say that it is anticipated this review will be finalized in summer 2025. It's summer 2026. What is taking so long?
We've spoken about this before, and I'll say it again to make it very clear. We're going to take the time we need to get this right. There are, as you know, a number of elements involved in the acquisition of such a large fleet. There are discussions, of course, as you know, about quantum, how much, how many, what kind of aircraft, interoperability, financial benefits, industrial benefits, jobs, buy Canadian provisions. Those discussions continue. I've just come back from Britain, where we signed up to audit or to be observers of the GCAP project for the 6th generation research project led by the Brits, by Britain, by Japan, and by Italy. Canada was lucky enough to be admitted into that research triumvirate at this stage as an observer. And so we will benefit from that research going forward. Yes, so we're going to take the time that we need to get this right. Things are changing. We have an obligation to monitor the technology that's in play as well. And so we'll have more to say in due course. And the Prime Minister's been very clear. He will not be hurried on this.
One thing I didn't hear there is the issues with the Americans and the trade concerns. The U.S. ambassador has been very clear that they are very frustrated that Canada has not made clear that they're going to buy the full 88 or go forward with the program. So this is not involved in the trade war at all.
The question of an acquisition of that size would normally, obviously, be a point of debate or dialogue between two sovereign nations. This is not the only factor involved in a multi-party multi-element, multi-stakeholder type of negotiation. This negotiation with the United States is extremely complex. What I would say is this. In my 13 or 14 months now as Minister of Defense, I can tell you that the cooperation between Canada and the United States on security, intelligence, and defense remains strong. Nowhere more so than, for example, with the only binational command in the world, which is NORAD, which we have benefited from, which the Americans have benefited from for decades. We continue to cooperate. We are in dialogue with respect to the question of the over-the-horizon radar system, which we're installing. We are in dialogue and we're working together in lockstep in the notion of a continental shield for North America. We are cooperating when it comes to the future Arctic investments we're making. This will continue. It's too important not to continue in lockstep with each partner. We are sovereign countries. We just happen to live up against each other. That will continue indefinitely. So the question of whether or not one acquisition is spilling over into and or complicating a negotiation, I think that's a little simple.
Final question on the F-35. We've seen reports that the Americans have control over the software associated with that, and that's been concern from a Canadian perspective. Is that your understanding, and is that a part of the negotiation and concern?
There's been a lot of misinformation and disinformation about a so-called kill switch, which is in the possession of the manufacturer of the aircraft. It's not quite so. The 8 founding nations who stood up the research project for the F-35, Italy, for example, included, which is now manufacturing the aircraft, there is control over those aircraft. It is shared. The United States has decided to move on with a 6th-generation research project of their own. No partner is being brought into that relationship. That's a decision that a sovereign state has made. We respect that, which is why we joined as observers the GCAP initiative. So at this stage, look, the aircraft business is an important one. The fighter fleet question is an important one. I've just come back from Alberta, where we are, of course, investing in new infrastructure to receive F-35s and other fighter aircraft. But it is one of many hundreds of procurements that are going on right now. It's a particularly complicated one, and we will take the time we need.
Thank you so much. That now concludes our question and answer period. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Thank you.